Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's DGTCC, the Dynamic Grand Touring Car Championship for Event 4, which is brought to you from the DGT SEASIDEVIL. Basically it's DGT Seaside, but the other way around, and it's evil. Really evil. Like, everyone's going to crash at some point, somewhere evil. Maybe that's why Mitch hasn't made this race. Unfortunately, a few guys are unable to race in this one, but we will have a look at the current championship standings. And Twilight leading the way on 82 points ahead of Steve F1 on 79. Got a 4-point gap then to SGP in third, 2-point gap to Mitch in fourth, and a 1-point gap to Dave the Harp in fifth. Demon R's in sixth on 64, and he's got a 2-point lead over Conrad, who's got a 3-point lead over Jason. SRI is in ninth on 57 points, and he's got an 11-point lead over Jimmy. Rich Blues, he's on 36 points in 11th place. Then we've got Formula Gary and Arpal tied 12th on 26 points. Hay in 14th place on 22 points. Bunsel in 15th place on 16 points. And then we've got Fluffy Planet and Tyler, both tied for 16th. Right, as I mentioned, a few drivers unable to make the race today, so there are 6 drivers missing. Fluffy, Bunsel, Formula Gary on holiday, so yeah, Jason also away. So the sprint grid is going to be like this. Rich Blues got the reverse grid pole, so he's going to start on the front row alongside SRI. On row 2 we'll have Steve F1 and Demon R, and on row 3 we'll have SGP and Twilight. On row 4 we'll have Dave the Harp and Conrad, and on row 5 we'll have Art Pal and Hay. So as I mentioned, Jimmy, Fluffy, Jason, Mitch, Bunsel and Gary all unable to race today, which is a big shame, but the rest of the drivers are still going to go absolutely mental for it. So let's join our commentator. And joining me on commentary once again, it's Raymond here at the SEASIDEVIL. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing good, how are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic today, thank you very much.
Nice one.
So here we go then, SEASIDEVIL. Rich Blues on pole position with SRI alongside him. It's going to be an interesting run down to turn 1 as we get ready for the lights to go out. And away they go, and it looks like a decent start from the Maserati and Demon R actually, but Rich Blues holds on to the lead, does he? Yes, fends off. Oh, Demon R having a look up the inside. Steve F1's going all the way around outside of him.
Yeah, Steve F1 sticking in there. Oh, he has got round the front. There's Twilight and Dave the Harp pounding down Demon R.
Yeah, last time Rich Blues started a race on pole position, he crashed at turn 1. He's managed to get a few corners in as we're into the Hayes into the Mitch's bomb-hole. Although in this way round it may have to be the other end. Mitch and Nicole. It sounds like something that should be on the Kardashians, or it's what's it? I think it's female singer Geordie.
Do I know what you're talking about?
She used to be married to Ashley Cole.
Oh, Cheryl Cole?
Yeah, Cheryl Nicole. Oh, Rich Blues is off! He's off into the downhill S's, and it looks, Demon R had nowhere to go. He's gone and nailed the Jamaican right in the doors. Unfortunate there for Rich Blues, got a little bit wide on the downhill S's. Want to quickly remind everyone as the drivers are making their way through Brokeback that this sprint race sets the grid for the feature race. I think I've heard that somewhere before recently. Wonder where F1 have been getting their ideas from, Ray?
They must be watching us closer.
Yeah. Hey, you know, maybe the FIA just absolutely love the jokes.
Well, they are old guys, so well, possibly.
True. Okay, we've got Conrad trying to make a move on SGP here. I'll tell you what, SRI's in a decent position. Unfortunately, with Rich dropping away as he has, SRI in his Dodge Viper's got a great opportunity because Steve F1 may struggle. Conrad struggling under braking. Is he going to keep it on the road? Just about, but he loses the position. Turn 1 seems to be a bit tricky on this track, Ray. Any sort of reason why that might be?
That is the wrong way round.
Okay, yeah, that is one way to look at it. I mean, what I would say is that the kink is kind of at an awkward point. Oh, SRI's been into the barrier. He had a decent gap over Steve F1. Steve F1's going wide. He's onto the dirty bit. He'll be lucky to keep going in the right direction. But what that has done, that's allowed Dave the Harp through, and that was the last thing SRI needed, because Dave the Harp has been showing to be quick around here in practice. Just about every time he's got ahead in practice, he's managed to pull away as SRI sliding through the downhill S's. It's good fun doing it like that, and if you get it right, it's quick. Holy cow! Oh no! SRI's been done. Oh, Steve F1, you lucky boy. Twilight was not so lucky. Yeah, SRI suffering at Richard's curve.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to Toblerone everybody else, but I think everybody Toblerone him.
Aye, that he did. And for anyone that's watching that still doesn't know about that, Billy Connolly, Toblerone, check it out. Now, if you have seen it, you'll know what we're on about. Oh, Conrad!
There's a right-hand turn.
Yeah, there is. I'll tell you what, Hayes leading this little gaggle of cars as Twilight trying to recover after catching SRI. Yeah, turn 1 here. If you're on the right side of the track as you get to the kink, which is flat out, it kind of puts you a bit out of shape, so Twilight might struggle here. But you need to brake 150 metres and brake hard to make the corner. If you brake any later, excuse me, you go a little bit deep like Hay did there and end up losing a position. SRI trying to recover and make a place on Demon R at the moment.
Yep, down in turn 1 he got ahead of Art Well, so let's see what happens here. I thought we were going full wide, but looks like we're not. Everybody.
Ooh, SRI! Sneaky overtake on the exit of Mitch's bomb hole. Yeah, I don't think Demon I was expecting that one. And the SRI trying to go all around the outside of Hay now. Oh, Hay got a little bit sideways. Hey, I tell you, Hey now, that's the song at the beginning. Hey now. Yeah. And also, you mentioned a moment ago, Ray, that yeah, with the old guys, they must like the jokes. Elton John. Right. Oh, Demon R sideways. Oh, he's not going to like that. He's not sideways anymore. He's just facing the wrong way and then the right way. SGP trying to make a move on Steve F1. Yeah, I was reading that Elton John, like kind of linking the old people and the music here. Elton John has bought his pet rabbit a treadmill.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little fit bunny.
Alright.
That one was alright. Cheers, thanks. It could be worse. I saw a car being driven by a sheep in a swimsuit. It was a Lamborghini.
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't know what you said. Right, back to the action, Ray. As Conrad, is he going to be on the brakes early enough? It's a little bit late. He's managed to survive. A little bit wide now, trying to look a bit of an undercut on SRI, but that's not going to work because the Dodge is a lot more stable. Interestingly, Ray, the Maserati through the bomb hole is not stable at all. It really wants to spin. Oh, an SGP into the wall there. And yeah, in the attempt to try and not spin, it's very easy to end up in the barrier. And Steve F1 having to look up the inside of SGP into the hairpin, which actually might have been called the heart pin. But yeah, nice overtake there. But Dave the Harp is now leading the way, and he's opened up a gap.
Yeah, we've seen this quite a lot, where he can get into the lead and just push away from second place or a group of cars.
The thing is, though, I mean, we were talking in the last couple of races, or as SGP's nice and sideways, yeah, that Dave the Harp struggled a little bit in the last few races because of having to start further down in the pack. As SGP going up the inside of the Brokeback. Can he get that move done? Yes, he can. It's a lovely little overtake there from SGP on Steve F1. And let's not forget, this race does set the grid for the feature race, which will come up a little later, as Demon R trying to get a decent exit on Conrad. Inside line for the final chicane. You don't want to be on the outside here. here because it's very, very dirty. Conrad nearly clunked the barrier. I don't know if you've seen anybody struggle at that chicane, Ray, with sort of getting a bit of a wide entry attempt on the corner. Because I think most times I've seen anybody do it, they've ended up sideways.
Yeah, and it doesn't help with the next corner being so early. Well short to the next corner. Oh, Conrad, he's late on the brakes.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, because the next corner's so short, you want to be over on the left-hand side of the previous corner so that you can take cut the apex and get a better run out.
Conrad's into the barrier. And Hay sneaks through now. Demon clipped the barrier as well as he survived. He's still crashing. Now he's whacked Hay off. I don't know. He should have waited for him there, really, shouldn't he?
Yeah, it was out of control of what the vehicle was doing. He was trying to get it under control, so that'd be one for the stewards.
I suppose it's quite an interesting point, that, though, isn't it? He was still having an accident, so yeah, maybe it would be an interesting one for the stewards to see. I don't know if it will get reported. Either way, Demon did whack Hay off.
Did they?
Yeah, got all messy down there at Dave's harping. What we've got now, SRI hunting down Twilight. We've seen this before, haven't we? Last time out, Laguna Seca. Hey, I tell you what, Ray, these guys are about to start the last lap of the race already.
Already? Jesus.
I know.
That's quick, isn't it?
It is. I tell you what, Conrad's gone for that slightly outside line. He's trying to take a wide line through the first part to get the undercut on the second part. He's just whacked Hay off as well, I think. But yeah, it's the nature of this track, because we're racing on it the wrong way round. The grip into that final chicane is actually sort of over more towards the left hand side of the track, so you may see some drivers approaching the corner sort of diagonally and trying to get the grip, whereas if you go for a sort of normal late apex type of turn in, it's very dirty out there. SRI
two front, two behind.
Twilight. Twilight just gets ahead of Steve F1. Conrad and Demon, I think they're still side by side, but Twilight's got through. Steve F1 nearly conked the barrier. Demon is now battling with Hay, so I think Conrad managed to get ahead of Demon. Yes, he did. And yeah, we are on the last lap of the race. It is shocking that it's gone so quick. It's almost as shocking as what you'd call a lamb covered in chocolate. A candy bar.
That's why it went so quick. They appreciate jokes.
Yeah. I like that one. It's getting frantic.
Are they going through mode? No.
Yes, they are. Nearly. No, they're not enough room. This is where really the drivers kind of need to take the chances if it's there. But also, they need to be careful, because the last thing they want to do is go and absolutely bin it now and end up way down. Dave the Harp, though, looking safe. The Corvette has been good around the DGTC side and SEASIDEVIL. So Dave the Harp is going to take the victory in the sprint race. SGP somehow will take second place, so they'll be the front row for the feature. Twilight in third. Good result for him, the championship leader. SRI fourth. Steve F1 fifth. Just ahead of Conrad by the skin of his testicles. And then we got Demon R, Hay, Art Pal and Rich Blues. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, unfortunately a few drivers unable to join us today, but it's just the nature of the hot weather, people taking holidays and things like that. But a very interesting, exciting race, that, right?
Yep, a lot of action, a lot of racing in there. Yeah, Dave the Harp pulling out for a win again. How many wins has he had?
I don't know if he won the... no, he may have... No, he didn't win qualifying at the first race, but I think he did win the first race. I could be wrong.
Did he win it with Laguna Seca? I know Twilight won one of the races, but...
You know what? Dave might... No, Dave didn't win. Twilight won... Did he win them both?
I can't remember.
You know what? I think Twilight might have won them both. No, he can't. No, he didn't. Steve F1 won the sprint race at Laguna Seca, and Twilight won the feature race. But I do know Dave DeHarp has won a race at least. I'm pretty sure it was the first round. Event 2 and 3 was a lot more difficult for him. Event 4, to be fair, a lot of people were expecting Dave to do really well at this event, and he did in this sprint race. Absolutely nailed it. I mean, he was starting quite far down and taking the win here. 16 points for him. I'll just quickly go and confirm that result. So Dave the Harp first, 16 points. SGP second, 15 points for him. Then Twilight in third. SRI fourth. Steve F1 fifth. Conrad sixth. Demon R 7th, Hay 8th, Art Powell 9th, and Rich Blues in 10th. And interestingly for Twilight, who's the current championship leader, I think the closest person to him in the standings at the moment is Steve F1. So he's already outscored Steve F1 by a couple of points. So that bodes well for the championship. As for the feature race, there weren't any drivers joined us after the sprint race, because for the league drivers, if they are unable to make the sprint race, they can still attend the feature race, but not able to do that because they're all in some dodgy cubicle somewhere, from what I've heard, making weird sounds and a lot of mess. Twilight.
Fluffy's still in hiding.
Exactly, yeah. We've got.
No, it's not Fluffy, it's, what was it?
A fluffer. Oh, Fuffly, yeah, Fuffly. Okay, so we'll confirm the grid then for the feature race. So Twilight and Dave Harp will line up on row 1. SGP, Demon R on row 2. Steve F1 and Hay on row 3. Art Pal and Rich Blues on row 4. And on row 5 will be SRI and Conrad. That's wrong.
No, that's wrong.
That is wrong, so we've cut that bit out, and I'll redo it on my own on the video. That was... I know what I've done there, but I'll redo that bit.
So in first place we'll have Dave the Harp, second SGP, then second Noble.
You know what? I'm fucking... I'm stopping recording now.
Oh, you've got to add some bloopers in.
You actually want that left in? Right, fine, okay. Everybody blame Raymond for this. Right, okay, so who's on row 1 then for the feature race, Ray?
Dave the Harp and SGP, and then second row is Twilight and SRI, and third row is Steve F1 and Conrad, fourth row is Demon R and Hay, fifth row is Art Balt and Rich Blues, and then all the rest are nowhere to be seen.
Aye, that they are. Right, let's get ready for the feature race. Here we go then for the feature race. Dave the Harp with his quadruple exhaust pipe on pole position as we get ready for the lights. They'll be going out very soon. As away they go finally, and it's a very wheel spinning start for SGP. Twilight straight through the middle, takes the lead. Does he know Dave the Harp's coming back at him?
Oh no, he's took the lead, and as we go round turn 1, is Dave the Harp going to get in there? We've got a wee bit of contact with SRI and SGP. They need to sort out their driving standards.
Oh, that they do, especially heading into Mitch's bumhole. Twilight leading the way. He's had a fantastic start. Can everybody get through? Oh, a couple of Maseratis into the barrier. SRI, all sorts of sideways. Dave the Harp was in the wall as well. He's had a bad exit, but Conrad's going to try and take the lead into the Harpin.
Yep, is he going to get it? He's going to struggle going up this hill with Twilight and his Viper, but he's got the inside line to start the downhill.
The Dodge has got slightly better sort of fourth gear speed. They're still just about side by side into the S's. Steve F1 gets a little bit sideways. Oh, there's chaos in the background. Oh, disaster for Demon R and Rich Blues. Twilight, oh, so close. SRI got someone next to him as well. It's SGP who's stuck up into second.
Nice one, yeah. And is he going to get... He's up in the second?
He was up
I
into
must say
second.
Alright, I was about to say...
Oh! That's alright!
Twilight!
That's alright, just disappeared, Twilight. You know what, SGP is going to have to be careful here. If he defends too much, he'll get a bad exit, and that Dodge Viper has got much greater speed. Oh, Steve F1 won't have good speed out there, though. Conrad had a bit of a dodgy exit, so he's going to be compromised. SGP's got the slipstream now, may actually be able to attack down into one. And again, it's brilliant to see the different characteristics of the cars coming into play as SGP is looking up the inside on the brakes, dragging his chin on the floor, but he's gone deep.
Yeah, is Conrad going to get it switched round and take the switch back? Oh, they're going to be... Who's going to brake? Who's going to get the position for the Mitch's bumhole? You don't want to go side by side through there.
No, you don't. Who's got the bigger balls? Oh, SGP tucks in behind Conrad. That's going to allow... Oh, I was going to say SRI to catch up, but he's in the barrier. He's actually sideways in the barrier. He may have collected a couple of other cars as well. Yeah, there's a couple there stationary. Conrad is wiggling under braking. I think he's pushing the Aston Martin a little bit too hard on the brakes.
Yeah, he's trying his best to try and stay ahead. He's doing good. Let's see how he gets down these S's.
Yeah, I mean, the S's going in the other direction is a fantastic set of corners. Going up the hill, you can really push it. But going down there, you have to be careful. Like, hey, was not there. Unfortunately, got wide into the barrier. And, yeah, you could get down most of the S's and still end up off towards the end of it. The bit known as Dick Curve. Which was named that because we said whoever oh, D-Blaw's off! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, because last time we raced this direction, we said whoever crashes into that one first will get the corner named after him. And it was Rich. Oh, Dave the Art, he's a little bit side, he's a little bit funny, he's a little bit sideways.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if Damon R would be able to do what he done the first time at this track where he drifted it round to Conrad, but yeah.
Nah, not on this occasion. SGP's having another look up the inside of Conrad, and interestingly, SGP will have seen that Conrad struggled under braking into that corner on a couple of previous laps, and on this occasion takes full advantage. I mean, Conrad didn't outbrake himself, it was just a decent overtaking manoeuvre. David Harper is still just ahead of Twilight at the moment, but as we know, Ray, anything can happen around this track given this section of it.
We can see David Harper in third place as we're going to catch up with the leaders there. So we've got Steve F1, SRI. Oh, nice move. Is he going to get it?
I think, wait, you know what? He's in a good position for the Harpin. Yeah, he's got the inside line, and the Dodge is like a much better run up the hill. We can see the gap already that the front four have got. And SRI has managed to stay ahead of Steve F1. Demon R's actually passed Steve F1 as SGP coming under pressure from Conrad. Oh, Conrad, he's wide. He's wide. Is he going to visit Dick Curve? No, he saves it. Twilight nearly did, though.
Yeah, he was just on the white line there. A wee bit more onto the grass, and that might late on the brakes there.
Yeah, I don't think he realised that Twilight was sneaking up the inside of him there and following David Hart through. It kind of looked like Conrad was going for a bit of an undercut switch back, but yeah, Twilight was there and took full advantage of it. Or David Hart once again a bit sideways into the final chicane, and this is what I was talking about in the first race. As Twilight's got a decent run on him. Yeah, if you're a little bit away from the left-hand side as you're approaching the corner, it's very easy to end up sideways, especially in that Corvette. But the Corvette's got the power down the straights. The Dodge can't pass him, but the Aston Martin might try.
Yeah, he's trying late on the brakes again. He kept it in tighter this time. Is he going to drop out? Oh, he too late. Oh.
Unlucky. He's getting...
I thought he was holding it there.
Yeah, he's getting better. He got the entry right. Just a bit too eager on the exit. This could get interesting. Aston Martin versus two Maseratis, another Aston Martin, it's our pal, sweeps in front of Demon R there, so side by side with Steve F1. Oh, so close to the barriers, 2 by 2 now, they are in the barriers, and our pal is, well, he's still there somehow.
Yeah, 4 wide, and look at that, everybody made it because it's Demon R.
I'll tell you
Don't
what,
think the SRI's seen Steve F1 coming up inside there.
did well to eventually back out of that one. So Arpal and Steve F1 still side by side then, behind Hay now. SRI behind them, nowhere for SRI to go at the moment. Well, he could go over that bit, which he did. Looks like Demon R and Rich Blues in the background, getting side by side as well. But Steve F1 has managed to get power. Arpal just gives Steve F1 a nudge, but that may turn into an overtake. But up at the front, Ray, we've got Dave the Harp now on the back of SGP. But let's see how Dave the Harp gets on into the chicane this time. He's got the inside line, so he's going to have more grip. So he's not as sideways.
No, but he still didn't get the drive out the chicane. Look, SGP's made a gap in that Maserati.
Yeah, well, maybe because Dave's been sideways on the way in a few times, he's a little bit cautious through that corner. You can see how much he's been able to close the gap up, though, and trying to have a sneaky look of the inside. SGP covers it off, but here comes the Corvette on the exit of the corner. The Corvette will have the power to get ahead before the bus stop. The Aston Martin versus the Maserati. The Aston Martin won't be able to get ahead side by side, but the Corvette can as these guys continue their battle for the lead. Dave the Harp now leading the way. Could it be a sprint and feature race win for him? He'll be wanting it. He's been practicing for it.
Oh, it's a wee bit deep there in the corner.
Commentator's curse strikes again. I do apologise, Dave. Don't worry, SGP's doing really well at the moment. Dave the Harp's passing him down the hill. Was he? No, he's had to back out of it. Here comes Conrad round the outside of him. And Conrad now having a look at attacking SGP. And Twilight, you know what? Twilight had that... Dick Curve! Oh, Dave was lucky there. He nearly got sucked off at Dick Curve.
And I think Twilight's just sitting there, just waiting to see what happens.
It does look like that, doesn't it?
He doesn't look aggressive, and it just looks as if he's out for a Sunday drive.
Yeah, it does look like he's sort of trying to keep his nose out of it a little. Maybe he's seeing what's happening ahead. The car's getting a little bit sideways, getting different runs on them. And the thing is, something we know that Twilight has been working on a lot over the last few championships is that being calmer and taking the right opportunity when it comes. And to be fair, winning the race at Laguna Seca will have given him the confidence to race like this here, because he's probably feeling like he's driving slower at the moment, but he's able to keep up, and that'll give him the confidence to go, right, when the opportunity arrives, I can make the move because I can go faster. Aston Martin versus Dodge towards the bus stop. Okay, I've just cursed them, haven't I? With everything we've just said. Oh!
The Aston Martin hitting the wall, and Twilight must have hit the wall as well.
Oh, bye, Steve!
He was a wee bit close to turn right.
Yeah, he's unfortunate with that one. SGP, so SGP's leading the way. He's now got a gap to Dave the Harp. Something else must have happened to Dave the Harp then, because yeah, maybe he got, I don't know, maybe he hit the wall on the Dick Curve, Dick Wall. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Spinny, spinny, spinny. Here come Dave the Harp. Oh, and Twilight and Conrad.
Yeah, he did have about a 4-second lead, but he went and screwed that up.
Oh, that he did. Oh, Conrad getting a little bit sideways. Yeah, so, I mean, we were talking about Twilight sort of looking at taking the opportunity, and having sat there and been a bit patient has now resulted with him being in second place. There goes Dave the Harp being sideways again. Twilight's going to have the better exit, but the Dodge hasn't got the power to really attack the Corvette on the straight, but down into turn one he may be able to. Two Aston Martins here going at it. Hey, oh, that's alright. He's not in the hay, he's in the grass. Slots in behind Hay, so two Aston Martins now followed by two Dodges.
Yep. Don't know what happened there. He must have missed his turning point. And he'd sat nav.
He needs just 3 words. Oh, Rich Blues, I think he's just tagged Steve up. Bye, Steve. There's a left corner there. He may have been assisted with that one. It looks like, Ridge Blues is slowing down. So maybe that's what it was. Ridge Blues maybe accidentally nerfed Steve off the track, and if you're on the brakes and dipping wheels on the grass, oh, you're gonna end up with a headache like Hayes got. Okay, so that's freed up Art Pal and SRI. SRI going for the move, or at least having a look of the inside. Art Pal running a little bit wide, manages to recover. It really is a horrible hairpin, that one, because it just seems to, the entry to it just seems to go on forever and ever.
Yeah, it's like, it's a slow sweeping first part, and then out of nowhere, the sharp left-hand turn comes, and you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
That's right, no, not happy. Demon R's closed in on the back of SRI and Alpha. You know, I was thinking that it actually reminds me a little bit of Brazil Turn 1, but if Brazil Turn 1 was a hairpin. Oh, Steve F1's gone again! Oh dear, Conrod's into the barrier. Oh dear, that's on the exit of the final chicane. SGP is going to retake that position. Dave the Harp and Twilight, they've pretty much checked it out now. They're up the road, look. Dave the Harp's got quite a few second gap to Twilight at the moment. So most of the action may be in the pack now as Demon R up the bumper of Art Pal. Steve F1 was behind him. But yeah, look at the gap that Dave the Harp's got now.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. And he's coming into the bumhole.
Oh!
You cussed him, you said you did great.
Hey, no, I said SGP was doing really well. Oh, Conrad! Oh.
That was a nice slide for Conrad.
It was. Dave the Arms very nearly got his rear end. Oh, Connor Scott is off, he's sliding, he's wide. Is he recovered? Is he saved it? I don't know. Because we're cut to two Maseratis arguing.
On your track map, it looks like he has. As we come here with Steve F1 and Demon R and Art Pal battling.
They are, and as they battle, Hay behind them is going to be able to close in. Art Pal's coming under pressure, but side by side, the two Maseratis go side by side. On his own goes Demon R. Oh, he's wobbling all over the place. Here comes Rich. Which way is he going? I think he's gone. Oh no, he's still going on the track map. He's all right.
Yeah, SRI was getting a wee bit wider at Dick Curve there. Is that Dick Curve?
It was Dick Curve, yeah. Hang on a minute. Oh, Dave the Harp's in fourth. Hang on, Conrad Smith. Why is Dave the Harp in fourth? I didn't see him have an accident.
Yeah, remember Dave the Harp hit the hairpin?
Oh, he hit the bomb hole, didn't he? That's right, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. I blanked that out of my memory.
He's not here. 3 wide, no, they've sorted that into 2 wide. That's weird with that camera angles. Sometimes you're like, another 3 wide, and then.
Oh, Connor's not stopping that. Oh, that was way late on the brakes. Oh dear, dips a wheel wide, and unfortunately around she blows. Art Pal got Steve F1 here, and Demon R right behind him, and Hay. As they head into the bomb hole, I don't know if something happened there between Art Pal and Steve F1. Steve F1 is through. I think Art Pal was a little bit slow there, so maybe something happened between them in turn 1. I was too busy watching Conrad absolutely terrify the cameramen. Oh, just like Steve F1 has been doing. Actually, I'll be getting messages off Blackpool Beach if they can have all of the sand out of Steve F1's undercarriage to help with the beach.
Yeah, as we come down Demon R, he's sliding about, isn't he?
And there he is, Conrad's still there. Oh, Demon R really is sliding about. Oh, someone's been off at Dick Curve. Saw the kick of dust. Everybody else has managed to get through there at the moment. Oh, is that Conrad having a look at the inside? It is. Steve F1 though making the move on Art Pal, who gets a little bit of a tank slapper on. Conrad is there as well. This could get tricky. It could get tricky, Ricky.
And Hayes just in there behind, following Rich Blues. Oh, Hay had a wee bit of a tank slapper on there.
That he did. Steve F1 got a decent exit. He got boosted out of the corner actually. As Conrad and Art Powell go side by side, Steve F1 and Demon are sort of nose to tail. SRI's got a little bit of a breather now as we are 16.5 minutes through this race. 25 minutes is the length of the feature race. Oh, it's Art Powell a little bit late on the brakes. Upside Steve F1. Yeah.
Yeah, a wee lean on there. Lean on me.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really looking.
Not draw. As we go, I thought they were going too late.
There's a few scrapes of the barrier. I'll tell you what, Harpap's got a decent run out of the bomb hole, so he's heading past Demon R now into the hairpin. Ooh, Steve F1 doesn't normally go sliding sideways, but he is at the moment. Maybe he heard my message about the sand in his undies. That's definitely one thing I don't like about going to the beach is getting sand in you, all your crevices, your cracks and your crevices. Demon R's a little bit offline here. Oh, slide sideways, off they go. Bosh, bish, bash. I know that was the wrong way round. It's bish, bash, bosh. But yeah, I'd blame Demon R for that one.
I think it's what do you call it? Oh, it's alright, just hit the wall a wee bit there. I think it's it looked like a wee drifting competition down the S's there.
It looked like an absolutely shocking drifting competition. Although I must admit I do like watching drift competitions. Check out Formula Drift actually. It really is. If you like watching a bit of drifting, it's actually really good. David Harp trying to close in on the back of SGP now. Dave will be absolutely kicking himself because he was in a great position to win this race, and then he hit the bomb hole wall, and to be honest, it's ended up now with Dave sort of attacking SGP, and SGP is never going to be easy to overtake. Dave will have the benefit of the power in certain areas, but I'm more thinking about Twilight. Twilight's now leading the race, and he's got a bit of a gap. Previously, you may think, well, is he going to be able to keep hold of it? But because of what he did at Laguna Seca, I think he can.
Yeah, let's see if you commentate custom then. As Dave the Harp down there says, is he going to just follow or is he going to try and push?
I mean, you know what? He's pushing. He is pushing. He went for a slightly later entry, and if it had worked, he could have given an opportunity for an undercut. But unfortunately, he ended up sideways. I mean, look how close he got anyway. If he'd have been able to keep the car under control, he may have had a decent opportunity. So the key points now is going to be into the final chicane, because if they're this close over the start finish line, then Dave the Harp should be able to get the move done. Let's see how they go as they head out, but then we know that SGP is an absolute pain in the backside when it comes to his defensive driving.
Yep,
I mean, look,
he's nearly in the pits just to say, no, you're not coming down the inside. If I've got the chance, I'm going to park it on the apex, so you either go round the outside like Dave the Harp's done. Yep. So you're going to try it. I don't think he'll get the switch back unless Dave the Harp has a moment on the curb, which he doesn't by the looks of it. And now we have Art Pal, Rich Blues, Art Pal and Demon R all close. There's a wee touch there, but
he's ended up with being Rich making an overtake there. I think Art Pal got a little bit deep on the brakes as well. But yeah, Demon R definitely tagged the back of Rich heading into that corner. Rich didn't quite get the exit that he wanted though, so Art Pal is back ahead as this now turns into a four-way battle as Hay tags on to the back of it, just clips the barrier a little bit. I mean, it is interesting though, Ray, that I know for quite a few of the drivers, racing this track in the opposite direction is definitely a bit weird.
Yeah, you get a good flow the other way around.
Yeah.
And this way just spiced it up a little. The drivers were like, this doesn't
three
feel
wide,
right.
3 wide. Oh, Demon R sideways. Rich Blues backed out of it a little bit. I think, Steve F1 may just take the back of Rich, who tagged the back of Demon R, who then ended up with Conrad tagging the back of Rich, and that Conrad's in the dick curve. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Tricky to see exactly what happened there, so I can't really judge it. And Steve F1 now trying to make a move on Hable, gets a little bit sideways. I mean, it did look like there were 3 wide heading towards the corner, but it did kind of look like Rich and Demon R were maybe trying to back out of it to not make it 3 wide. Hay left the room, and yeah, unfortunately the curb may have played a part there, as the curb's playing a part for Steve F1, and we cut back to SGP. So Dave Hart's been able to stay ahead this lap, but SGP is right there. I mean, SGP is not going to outrun Dave Harp on a straight unless he gets a better exit of a corner. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, go on.
Even at that, it's going to be hard for SGP to overtake, so he might end up having to hope that he can keep so close at the braking point.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you know what? He's got a really good exit. I've said about exits, and we're heading up to actually a part of the track that it looks like the Corvette struggled a little bit with. SGP's got the inside line into the S's. This is where Dave does not want to be offline because his car may twitch like that. And he's got a little bit side. Oh, that's all right, into the barrier. Oh, and now he's spinning. Oh, he's just gone and done Richard Kipper.
Yeah, he spins again.
I think the Jamaicans just come round that corner and going, Jamaican jerk! That is not my Jamaican accent, by the way. That's my impression of Rich doing a Jamaican accent. So here comes Dave Hart then attacking back on SGP. I tell you what, Ray, look at the time. We've only got 1 minute 45 seconds left, which means the guys are starting the last lap of the race. And SGP's got a nice little gap. And the difficulty for for Dave here now is if he attacks too hard, the Corvette won't respond for him. I tell you what we haven't seen this week, Ray, is Rich Blues going and checking out the burger van.
No. He's been checking out the top roll.
That he has. Personally, though, I've got to admit, I love sausages. Don't know euphemisms. I actually prefer sausages over burgers.
Alright.
Yeah. And the thing is, the best of the sausages, right, are the German sausages. And the best German sausages are the first. Ours the first.
Is that supposed to be some sort of joke?
It's a joke! It's the bratwurst. Okay, SGP is still ahead just of Dave the Harp. I'm not worried about Twilight leading the race. I think he's going to go on to win it. Oh, Dave the Harp's big sideways into the S's. So's SGP. These guys are absolutely pushing the limits. Dave really is pushing it. For Twilight, though, he looks calm and stable.
Yeah, he's just on his Sunday drive, like I said earlier, he let the other people take the chances by pushing too hard. He's out Sunday drive all day, going up the inside.
Yeah, he's got the move done. The switching. It's got deep. Oh, we've got away to Twilight. So Twilight, he's leading. He's going to win for the second time in the DGT League. A phenomenal result for him. But what's going on? Sorry, Twilight, I don't care about you. What's going on between these two? It's a drag race between Dave the Harp and SGP, and there's going to be nothing SGP can do about it. Dave the Harp takes the second place. SGP third. Oh, Demon, that's big sideways. Steve F1 all over his gearbox. Surely he's going to get past, but he's going to have to watch out for Hay. The Aston Martin is faster in a straight line than the Maseratis. Is Steve F1 going to pop out? Is he going to pop out? He is going to pop out. Can he make it? No, he can't. Oh. Hey, eighth place, Rich Blues. 8th place, that's the reverse grid pole. He was bragging about being on pole for the second time. Now it'll be 3 times, because although we don't mention it throughout the course of this race, yeah, 1st to 8th will be a reverse grid order for the next sprint race. So the race order here is the grid order for the next sprint race, but 1 to 8 will be reversed, which means Rich Blues will start on pole position at the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit. Well done, Rich. Your bad driving has won you success again. I'm joking. It wasn't bad driving.
Sure it wasn't bad driving. I think that's more tactical.
Hey, he's got bad jokes just like me, so it could be. Yeah. But no, it may have been tactical. I mean, maybe in the last couple of laps he was thinking, you know what, there's been a lot of crashes, there's been a lot going on in this race. I'm currently in 8th place. I'm not going to attack anyone, but I'll defend my position. One thing I will say is, what we would never want to see is somebody banging the brakes on to try and get that 8th place. That would just be wrong, because one person bangs the brakes on and the other one goes, hang on a minute, and bangs the brakes. No, you race to the line, and if you're in 7th, you're in 7th. If you're in 9th, you're in 9th.
If you're in 8th, you lucky bastard.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think, in all fairness, I mean, this might sound a bit miserable, this, but I think if I saw someone do that, like on purpose, slow down, like in a bad way to get that 8th place, I think I'd report them from sportsman-like behaviour.
I'd ban him. I'd beat it.
So right now Ray said that when he does it, I've got to say though, I mean, the SEASIDEVIL is a tricky track. The Bommel you'd think is easier. It's different, but it's not necessarily easier. The hairpin is really tricky. The S's is also tricky. To be fair, the whole track is. So I'm not surprised we saw a few incidents and a few accidents. And also, even at turn 1, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, a downhill braking zone is a hell of a lot harder to deal with than an uphill braking zone. So, for example, at the next race, the Red Bull Ring, drivers may find that heading into turn 2, we're not going to call it turn 3 because it's turn 2. Drivers may be able to brake a little bit later, even if they are at a slightly higher speed, because it's uphill. If you're downhill, you have to brake earlier. So that's something that is very easy to catch people out. But I do want to say absolutely brilliantly from Dave the Harp in that sprint race to take the win. But Twilight once again, and
he's fantastic. He's shown himself this season, isn't he?
Yeah, and the thing, but if it was, he's on pole and he's just driven off and won, some people may go, oh well, it's just the car. But he's had to actually drive sensibly, drive tactically, take the opportunities when they arrive, and he's had to make overtakes. And when you look at the people that he's overtaking and beating, yeah, absolutely fantastic. I mean, okay, yes, the car does play a small factor, but that's the whole point of this championship. That's why the champions are in the heavy Maserati. It's why the drivers were able to pick one of the others, a car that suited their style, something that they were comfortable with. And I think Twilight's picked a good choice.
I just want to know what my best pal has got a belt on him with. His wife.
Wow, yeah. Yeah. There has been a few messages going on. Hey, clearly it's working for Twilight, so yeah, keep sending those pictures. Okay, once again, we're not going to sit here waffling about everybody's race or anything like that in this championship, doing things a little bit differently. What I will say is, I mentioned recently that there's going to be announcements coming soon. There is going to be announcements coming soon. We're just prepping for them. So we're probably going to do a live stream at some point to do announcements, but it won't be yet. So bear with us.
It'll be 2 o'clock in the morning.
I just want to mention that mate of mine got sacked off the Dodgems he was working on. But he's doing them though for funfair dismissal. Even I don't like that one, I'll admit. But it could be worse, right? Because I've got a step ladder. Because my real ladder left home when I was young.
Alright.
Now I might have already used that one, but I like it, so I thought I'd do it again. Right, okay. Next race, Ray, is the Red Bull Ring.
Is it the short one?
It's the full version. It's the GP circuit. The race after is going to be the short version. So we've got back-to-backs. We're going to have sprint race, feature race at the Red Bull Ring GP circuit. And it's a very different track to the ones we've already used so far. And
yeah, what? It's long straight, so I think that Corvette's going to play into hand here.
Well, it is. I mean, the power of the Corvette is definitely going to have an effect.
Just going to be that middle sector. He's just going to have to keep an eye on. But that Corvette.
Well, I think turn 2, that's probably going to be one of the really tricky points for everybody. It always is. But hopefully the drivers will, in this car, they'll find a nice balance of how to get through that corner. Because once you've done that in each of the cars, they're all absolutely brilliant through turn 2. But yeah, that middle sector, because of the high speed changes of direction, that could definitely cause an issue for Dave in the Corvette. It could cause an issue for the Jaguar drivers with their gearbox, with having more gears. They will want to keep it in a higher gear maybe. If they knock it down too many gears, it's going to get sideways on them. So that middle sector is definitely going to play a key. But this is where I think this championship is very interesting, because I think the Dodge is going to be extremely good in that middle sector. And I think the Maserati is going to be extremely good in that middle sector. But the Maserati hasn't got the speed to overtake anybody on the straights if everybody takes the corners properly. But the Dodge could. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one. And with the likes of Rich Blues on pole position at the next race, and I think Art Powell's on the front row with him. And let's not forget that Art Powell's, one of his best results was at the Red Bull Short, so he does know the Red Bull Ring quite a bit. We could see a different winner at that race.
Yeah, and hopefully turn 1 there isn't too many issues.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I tell you what, there's a couple of things we might want to clarify at the moment. Since we introduced the fuzz at Goodwood, pretty much every time we've then driven at a track in practice or random races, people have asked, is there a fuzz here? The answer is no. There's only a fuzz at those 3 tracks that we showed, and only when it's practicing for a league race or at those tracks. Basically, if we're doing a wacky race like crashing and stuff where we don't really care, then yeah, you'd have to stick to the fuzz. But if we were to go like Goodwood in go-karts, we might say, for a random race, we might say no fuzz here because the road's wide enough. But the other 2 tracks, yeah, they're the only other 2. So if you're wondering if there is a fuzz everywhere else, check the previous video. The other thing I want to mention is track limits rate at Red Bull Ring. We might as well touch on it so that people know if they're still listening at this point, and if they're not, good luck with your penalties. Good luck with your penalties is what I was going to say. Ray says fuck them. I said good luck with your penalties. Okay, just a reminder, the DGT rules are that curbs are classed as part of the track. So as long as you've got 2 wheels on the curb, you're fine. Or a wheel on the curb, you're fine. Where there is a sausage curb at an apex, you can straddle said sausage curb. Now, Ray may disagree on this. Personally, I see turn 1 at Red Bull Ring, there is a sausage curb at the apex. I don't have an issue straddling that, because if you straddle that, you've got two wheels on the curb. The exit of the corner, though, where there is a sausage curb parallel to the road, it is still the curb that is the track limit. So you can end up sort of straddling that long sausage, but you shouldn't really be going over it. So as far as the track limits goes at turn 1 on the exit of the corner, I think we said last time, if you're going fully beyond the sausage curb, you need to be working on getting your corner in right in that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Turn 2, sometimes people will end up a little bit wide there. I mean, it's obvious if you're off track there. And also the final 2 corners, a Red Bull Ring, again, as long as you've got 2 wheels on the curb, you're okay. Now, in practice, it's definitely worth guys working on keeping some tyres on the curbs, and if you're not, you may get advised, because the last thing we want to see is someone get penalised in a race for continuously being off the track, because that's the thing, you might not gain an immediate advantage, but if you're doing it every lap for 25 minutes, there's something's wrong. Doing it a couple of times and showing that you're trying to get it right, and then eventually getting it right is what we like to see, and what we would always praise going forwards.
Yeah, and that's why the FIA watch our videos, because they'll start to put in track limits as well.
Absolutely. See, we started off using white lines. They bottled that bit, but we went to curbs, so they've gone to curbs. I mean, personally, in my own personal opinion,
race.
Yeah, that's so. It's all right. Well, we're now doing reverse 1 to 8. We'll see if they do introduce that. But I mean, my own personal view is the white line is the edge of the track. But I know in DGT League, because it's run a bit more sort of openly, a bit more for the enjoyment factor, it was decided no, we'll allow the curbs, because then it just allows for the error. But it's one of those things, as long as people are trying, that's the main thing we want to see. So Gary, no Gary lines into turn 2, please. Save that for the WTF races, and then you can do that as much as you like. Okay, Ray, get ready to wrap up here. Anything else that you want to add before we
I wish I'd done that the last 4 times. I would be in this trouble.
True.
Yeah, nothing else to add.
Right.
Great racing, guys.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun. Right, Ray, thank you very much for joining us on commentary.
Always a pleasure.
And let's confirm the feature race result. Twilight taking the victory, his second now in DGT League. 20 points for him. Dave the Hart finished in second place, so 17 points. He scores SGP in third, Demonar in fourth, Steve F1 in fifth, Hay in sixth, Arpal seventh, but unfortunately gets a -3 point penalty for an incident that was reported. Check out the Facebook page for info on that one. Rich Blues once again gets the 8th place reverse grid pole. So yeah, Rich will be on pole position again. And this time we'll have Artpower next to him, so going to be an interesting one. But I've got to say, Twilight is absolutely showing his abilities in this championship so far. Oh, will he be able to keep it going? Because Dave the Harp is really piling the pressure on. So let's take a look at the new championship standings. Twilight still leading the way. He's on 116 points. But now we've got SGP and Dave the Harp tied for second place on 105 points each. 2 behind them is Steve F1 in 4th place, and then we've got quite a big gap, 16 points to Demonar in 5th place. Conrad is 7 behind in 6th place, and there's a 2-point gap to SRI in 7th. Mitch has dropped down to 8th place on 73 points. Jason's dropped down to 9th place on 59 points. Rich Blues has jumped up to 10th on 52 points. Jimmy has dropped to 11th on 46 points. And Hay has raised his game up to 12th place on 42. Art Power with his penalty. He was on 44 points, but with the 3 taken away, he's up on to 41, so drops to 3rd 15th. And then we've got a bit of a gap to Gary, who's in Scotland, of all places. Gary, you traitor. I hope you bring us back some rock. Bunsell, 15th place, 16 points for him. And then we've got Fluffy and Tyler, who are still yet to race. So, the championship, well, at the last race, who was it? It was Steve F1 after the last event that was closest to Twilight, but Twilight now has an 11-point lead, but there's still plenty of points to be scored. So, it's going to continue on throughout the whole of the championship. The next race is going to be from the Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit, so let's take a look at the provisional grid for Event 5's sprint race. Rich Blues will be on pole position with Art Pal on row 1, joining him there. Hay and Steve F1 will be on row 2. Demon R and SGP will be on row 3. Dave the Harp and Twilight on row 4. SRI and Conrad row 5. Mitch and Jason will be row 6. Jimmy and formerly Gary row 7. And then Bunsell and Fluffy on row 8. Like all the other events, when we get to the Red Bull Ring, there will be a 10-minute sprint race followed by a 25-minute feature race. The sprint race will set the grid for the feature race, and the feature race will set the grid for Event 6's sprint race with positions 1 to 8 reversed. This has been one hell of a race, one hell of a show, I think. And even the jokes were better, I thought, this week, even if Raymond is still miserable. But then what do you expect? He's got an English Gary visiting him up in Scotland. Although I bet he never offered to actually go and see him. Right, thank you very much for tuning in. If you like what you see, yeah, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit the notifications to be notified of when yeah, we're live again. So have a good one, everybody, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.